Hey, scholars. Videos on inventory management. Let's just spend a second and talk about the midterms. I got those graded. Average grade was about a B, a couple of A's, a few C's, some B's, some high B's. I'd like to have seen a little bit more detail on the answers. We'll talk a little bit about it on Monday, but we really got to be moving forward here. So the inventory management. Three types of inventory. There's raw materials inventory, there's work in process inventory, and there's finished goods inventory. As an operations manager, those are all important to you. As an accountant, those are also very important, so you need to know those. Managing inventory. The book lays out an example called ABC analysis. I like that. It's in my book too. And basically what it is you go in and you say, what are the things that I need the most, that are the most critical for me not to run out of? Those are my A items, the most expensive items, not necessarily. The next in line are the B items, which are critical but not as critical as A, and then the least critical items are the C items. You shoot for kind of an 80-20 rule, sort of 20% A's, 30% B's, 50% C's. You do your inventory, and that way what you can do is you can control your inventory without having to be very maniacal about controlling every piece of your inventory. You just control the A's in a very detailed fashion, and the C's, you maybe use a system called a Kanban system or something like that to manage that inventory. Kanban is Japanese for card, and a lot of people that use Kanban systems, they basically have a bin. Think of a big plastic bin of screws, for instance. And as the screws get down to a certain level, you probably have like a piece of red tape or something like that in the bin. Gets down to that certain level, the employee takes a card out of that bin and basically just hands it to the procurement guys, and then they come and fill the bin up again, or maybe bring a new bin. So ABC analysis is important. Inventory control is important. We talked about economic order quantity, and on page 496, it talks about some constants that have to be there, some of the basic assumptions that have to be there for the EOQ model to work. What is the EOQ model? The formula is, I promised you no more than 8th grade math, so we're kind of pushing the limit here, but it's the square root of 2 times D times S over H. So what that means is you take the square root of, you have a button that does that on your calculator. On the top of the equation is 2, the number 2, times D, the annual demand, times the setup cost for an order, divided by the holding costs for the inventory for a year. Take the square root of that, you have the EOQ. EOQ basically is what is the point where I want to, how much do I want to order for to have an inventory. It's also the point where the setup costs equal the holding costs. That's also the EOQ, so where those two equal. If you do the equation and you do the math to see if the holding cost and the setup cost equal each other, then you know you're at your EOQ. The example I gave in my book, and the one we talked about in class, was the guy buying poodles. I think was fairly clear. Of course, you can't order a fractional poodle, so your EOQ is not an exact number all the time. Maybe it's you're going to order 475 of these things at a time, but in reality, the holding cost doesn't equal the setup cost at that point. That's okay. It's a rounding error. Let's see. So, anyways, we need to know that model. There's a number of other models here in the book that we're going to talk about. One of the points that I think is important is safety stock. We're going to talk a little bit about that in class as we finish up this chapter on Monday. But safety stock is basically stock in excess of what you think you're going to sell. If you're in a clothing store and you think you're going to sell between now and Christmas, 500 blue shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, maybe you say I want a safety stock of 10% on hand just in case there's a rush on blue long sleeve t-shirts. And so you have 550 of them. So the safety stock is that extra 50. There's some math in here that goes through how to calculate that. I think that's going to be about it for this video. I'll see you all on Monday. 3 of you, I think, are doing your oral presentations. Looking forward to that. Have a good rest of your weekend.